Hey guys, welcome to Y&R Daily Update YouTube channel. Today's topics. Why Y&Rs, Phyllis, shouldn't be celebrating so soon. Phyllis finally scored a victory over the great Victor Newman. Phyllis is back at the top of the game on The Young and the Restless. With Kane's help, she did the unimaginable. She took down Victor. Now, Phyllis is celebrating her long overdue victory, but she might want to hold off on the festivities. Key takeaways: Phyllis wanted revenge on Victor after he backed out of their deal. Thanks to Kane and his AI software, Phyllis got her payback. Phyllis is now in control of Newman Enterprises. Newman's new CEO, Phyllis Michelle Stafford, has proven she's not the type of woman to mess with. When someone does her dirty, they better watch out because she's plotting her revenge. Unfortunately, Victor Eric Breton learned this the hard way. The mustache made a deal with Phyllis, giving her control of Jabbo in exchange for Kane's Billy Flynn AI software. But in true Victor fashion, he reneged on their deal, leaving Phyllis with nothing. A furious Phyllis immediately began plotting her next move and sought Kane's assistance. Thanks to a backdoor in the software, it attacks whoever controls it. Since Victor has the software, that left him and his company vulnerable. Phyllis and Kane didn't waste any time in swooping in and seizing control of Newman Enterprises. The redhead did what many others have failed to do, beating Victor at his own game. Phyllis is ecstatic over her victory and can't resist rubbing it in the mustache's face. However, some Y&R viewers think that Phyllis' good mood might not last. Phyllis' downfall is coming soon. She is too confident, wrote one fan on X. Yup, she's going to take the fall and wrath of Victor, while Kane just walks away. Another fan replied, she's going to fall for one of Victor's dirty deals again, and Kane will catch her. Most likely, it could be Billy too. For that matter, he's still having her watched. One viewer theorized, taste of her own medicine. Why? And our fans know that Victor never loses a battle. Although he's down and out now, it won't be long before he's back on top. Victor always has an ace up his sleeve, and he'll use that to save Newman and take down Phyllis. But it might be someone else who beats him to the punch. Kane is one person whom Phyllis betrayed on her way to the top. Although Kane seems to have forgiven Phyllis, odds are he's plotting his payback. With Kane secretly working on a deal with Billy Jason Thompson, the two could be trouble for Phyllis. Ms. Summers had better enjoy her time at Newman Enterprises while it lasts, because she's going to have many people coming for her. Subscribe our channel for more latest update. On The Young and the Restless, few characters have mastered the art of survival quite like Phyllis Summers. Time and again, she's clawed her way back from professional ruin, personal betrayal, and emotional devastation. When Phyllis smiles in victory, it's usually because she believes she's outplayed her enemies, secured leverage, or finally regained control of her life. But that smile, right now, it feels premature. Because if there's one ironclad rule in Genoa City, it's this: Phyllis Summers is never safer than when she's on high alert, and never more vulnerable than when she thinks she's won. And at this moment, Phyllis has far too many reasons not to be celebrating a familiar pattern. Phyllis peaks before the fall. Long time and our viewers know the pattern well. Phyllis rises, regains her footing, and convinces herself she's finally outsmarted everyone who doubted her. That confidence turns into boldness. Boldness becomes risk, and risk inevitably leads to consequences she didn't fully anticipate. Phyllis doesn't usually lose because she's outplayed intellectually. She loses because she believes the war is over when it's only paused. Right now, Phyllis appears to be standing in what she believes is a moment of stability, professionally sharper, emotionally defiant, and once again positioned as someone who matters in Genoa City's power structure. But history tells us that these moments are rarely what they seem. The illusion of control. Phyllis thrives on control. When she feels in charge of the narrative, she relaxes. That's dangerous. What she often mistakes for control is actually temporary leverage, information that can expire, alliances that can fracture, or enemies who are simply regrouping. Phyllis has always been brilliant at collecting secrets, but less consistent at protecting herself once those secrets are exposed or neutralized. Right now, Phyllis seems convinced that she's ahead of the game, but who, exactly, is still playing? Victor Newman is never truly neutral. Phyllis believes she's reached a place of safety where Victor Newman is concerned. That alone should set off alarms. Victor doesn't forget. Victor doesn't forgive. And Victor never stops calculating. Phyllis has tangled with Victor enough times to know this, yet she continues to believe she can manage him by staying useful, by staying informed, or by staying one step ahead. The problem is that Victor doesn't see Phyllis as an equal player. He sees her as a Resource when conveniente, liability when unpredictably, threat when confident. Phyllis, celebrating now, suggests she believes Victor has either been neutralized or outmaneuvered. That belief has undone smarter people than her. Victor's most dangerous moves come after his enemies think they've won. Billy Abbott, the ally who brings chaos. If Victor is the quiet storm on the horizon, Billy Abbott is the lightning strike Phyllis keeps inviting into her life. Phyllis and Billy share a volatile chemistry built on shared grievances, emotional intensity, and mutual defiance. They understand each other's rage but not each other's restraint. Billy doesn't play the long game. Billy reacts. Billy exposes. Billy explodes. Phyllis often believes she can channel Billy's recklessness into something productive, but history shows that Billy's emotional volatility doesn't just derail plans, it draws attention, invites retaliation, and leaves Phyllis scrambling to clean up the fallout. Celebrating while Billy remains a central figure in her orbit is reckless at best. The cost of being right. Phyllis has spent years fighting to prove she's right about Victor, about Jack, about Billy, about being underestimated. And often, she is right. But being right has cost her relationships with her children, trust within her professional circles, emotional stability. She rarely acknowledges winning an argument doesn't always mean winning the war. And Phyllis's victories tend to come with a steep emotional bill she postpones paying until it comes due all at once. Right now, she's celebrating correctness without fully reckoning with the cost. Summer and Daniel. The unfinished reckoning. The biggest reason Phyllis shouldn't be celebrating has nothing to do with Victor or Billy. It has everything to do with her children. Phyllis' relationship with Summer and Daniel remains fragile, layered with unspoken resentment and unresolved trauma. She often frames her actions as being for her kids, but that justification rings hollow when her behavior repeatedly puts them in emotional crossfire. Summer has learned to guard herself. Daniel has learned to retreat. Neither has fully healed from the chaos Phyllis normalized during their formative years. And while Phyllis may feel vindicated in her current position, her children are watching closely. Celebration, to them, may look like denial. The dangerous comfort of familiar roles. Phyllis is most comfortable when she's fighting. Conflict sharpens her instincts. It gives her purpose, but comfort zones can be traps. When Phyllis starts to feel settled, validated, vindicated, secure, that's when she slips back into old patterns, oversharing information, trusting the wrong, acting impulsively to assert dominance. Celebrating signals comfort, and comfort has never been Phyllis's friend. Jack Abbott. The door that never fully closes. Jack Abbott remains one of Phyllis's greatest emotional vulnerabilities. No matter how many times they circle back to conflict, betrayal, or disappointment, Jack represents a version of stability Phyllis has never fully stopped wanting. But Jack has changed. He's less reactive, more cautious, less willing to be pulled into chaos. If Phyllis believes she's regained some emotional upper hand, or that Jack will eventually fall back into old rhythms, she may be misreading him entirely. Jack's tolerance for drama has limits now, and Phyllis' celebratory confidence could push him further away. Not every door reopens just because it once did. Public perception. Genoa City is watching. Phyllis often underestimates how closely others watch her rise and fall. In Genoa City, confidence is admired, hubris is punished. People remember Phyllis' past transgressions, even when they benefit from her talents. Every victory she celebrates publicly sharpens the knives of those waiting for her next misstep. Phyllis's reputation ensures that grace will be scarce when she falls. Agonant falls are inevitable when arrogance replaces vigilance. The rinse perspective. Celebration signals complacency from a rinse-style critique. The most troubling aspect of Phyllis's current position isn't external threats, it's her internal posture. She's acting like someone who believes the storm has passed. But on Y&R, storms don't pass. They regroup. Victor regroups. Billy implodes. Jack withdraws. Her children distance themselves. Phyllis stands at the center, mistaking temporary calm for victory. What Phyllis should be doing instead? If Phyllis were truly evolving, she wouldn't be celebrating, she'd be consolidating. She should be repairing trust with her children without justification. Boundaries with Billy, limiting exposure to Victor's orbit. Choosing silence over spectacle. Growth for Phyllis doesn't come from proving others wrong. It comes from protecting what she still has.